Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Going the Distance. This is episode 17. Can you believe we've done 17 episodes? I want to thank everybody for joining me today. I want to welcome the new members who are just coming in. I hope you guys like this video, subscribe to the channel, comment, and share this video with all your friends because it really helps my channel. And I want to welcome back the members that have been with me from the beginning. This channel wouldn't be possible and this show wouldn't be possible without you guys. So I want to thank you guys for joining us today. And we got a lot to get to, so let's go the distance, y'all. We got a lot to cover. We got some football, we got some NBA, we got some hockey, we got some NASCAR, I've got some entertainment news, and we got the What We're Listening To segment. And I might introduce a new segment to this about that feeds off of what we're listening to. So let's jump into it. So first we're going to start with some NFL news. And it was reported last week that the Bengals have tagged Jamar Chase, wide receiver, for at least another year. And I think that's a smart move because you got rid of Joe Mixon. He's off in Houston now. And I was just kind of like, what's going on? It was right before the draft, so what were y'all thinking? But I'm glad Jamar Chase is going to stay with the Bengals for at least another year. He's one of Joe Burrow's go-to guys, and those two have really had success together. In fact, if I remember right, Jamar Chase and Joe Burrow played together at LSU. They were just drafted, I believe, a year apart from each other. So that's why they've got such the chemistry they've got. So staying on that Bengals front, T. Higgins, who was another big receiver for Joe Burrow, has requested to be traded out of the Bengals. I don't know why he's requested to be traded, but he's requested to be traded. So where does he go? I mean, he could be traded away, he could be released, but then Cincinnati could re-sign him. I've known players to do that before. So where do y'all think T. Higgins goes? I personally think he ought to stay in Cincinnati because if Joe Burrow wants to say that they've got the team to beat Kansas City next year, they need the weapons like Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, Tyler Boyd, all those guys. So what are y'all's thoughts on that? So now we're going to move into the Cowboys. So it was reported last week that the Dallas Cowboys and Ezekiel Elliott were in talks for Zeke's return to the Cowboys. But they were a little hesitant about it because the draft was coming up. And, they needed all this cap space for the draft. Now, that's how it went before the draft. So yesterday, it was reported that Zeke and the Cowboys have agreed on a one-year deal for Zeke to come back to Dallas. And I think that is a great addition. I think Dak will be very successful in that because if you guys remember, Zeke played for Dallas between 2016 and 2022, and then he spent a disastrous year in New England, and I thought he was going to do great in New England. And the second half he did do okay. He didn't do Zeke level great, but he did good. And now he's back with Dallas. So I'm thrilled to hear that, and I wish him all the best of luck in Dallas. And let's just see how he goes. Does Dak have that? Does Dak get Dak back? The Dak that we know, do we get him back with Zeke there? Because you've already lost Pollard. You just lost Michael Gallup. He signed a one-year deal with the Raiders, which I think is good for the Raiders. So Gallup's gone. Pollard's gone. You passed on Derrick Henry because Derrick Henry waited on a call from Dallas that never came. So that's how he signed with Baltimore. So I know I've got a few friends that are happy about that. So let's just see how it goes. Now, staying in that wide receiver front, I know Zeke is a running back, but we're going to stay in a signing mode. And Amon-Ra St. Brown, who's a wide receiver for the Detroit Lions, signed a 4-year deal, a 4-year extension worth $120 million with $77 million guaranteed. Me personally, I think he deserves it. Honestly, he was fantastic last year. He had a breakout season last year, and he deserves it. So congratulations to you, Amon-Ra St. Brown. I can't wait to hear and see how you do next year, this coming season. So going in this signing front again, Travis Kelce signs a 2-year extension with the Kansas City Chiefs to make him the highest paid tight end in the NFL. Now, is he worth it? Some say yes, some say no. I have mixed feelings about it. Is he worth it right now? Probably. Is he the greatest tight end of all time? No, not in my opinion. He comes in third for me. And my top 3, I kind of am back and forth with it because I love the top 2 in Tony Gonzalez and Rob Gronkowski. I love them both. They both had great careers. And then Travis Kelce comes in third. But like I said, the top 2, I would probably put Tony Gonzalez first, Rob Gronkowski second, and then definitely Travis Kelce third. So, I think Travis Kelce does this 2-year contract and then he retires because he's 35 years old. He'll be 37 when his contract is up with Kansas City. So I think after these 2 years, he ought to just retire, go do what his brother's doing, who I saw just signed with ESPN to be on Monday Night Countdown. So, let's see how Travis does. He's now got his money. Does he tank like everybody else who gets the money, or does he keep that level of that he's had? So now we're going to move on to a story that I'd kind of forgotten about. I didn't bring it up because I thought, it was done, and everybody knew back in 2016 that Saints football player Will Smith was shot and killed in a road rage incident. And if y'all don't know the story, it was he was in traffic. Him and his girlfriend were in traffic, and their SUV hit another car. Well, the guy got out of his car, and Will Smith and the guy had words, and the guy took a gun and he shot Will. I believe it was 5 or 6 times, and killed Will. He was pronounced dead at the scene. Well, this week, the guy who shot and killed Will Smith got 25 years in prison. And this was after this was a retrial, because the first time I believe it was they couldn't come to a consensus. So now they had a retrial, and he got 25 years in prison, plus what he already had before he was charged with attempted murder of Will Smith's girlfriend. So, honestly, I feel like he should have gotten more time. I mean, you don't just take a gun, shoot somebody in a road rage incident and get 25 years. You need to get more than 25. So, now we're going to move on to another story that I found very interesting. I saw yesterday that Boomer Esiason and Phil Simms are out as pregame on the panel for CBS's pregame, and they're replacing these two with J.J. Watt and Matt Ryan. Now, Matt Ryan just retired last week, and J.J. Watt's been retired for a few years. So the interesting thing about this is Nate Burleson and Bill Cowher's contracts were both coming to expire. And they re-signed Bill Cowher and Nate Burleson, but wouldn't re-sign Boomer Esiason and Phil Simms. Now, I liked Boomer's point of view on everything. I thought he had a very level head, good point of view. So let's see how Matt Ryan and J.J. Watt do. So, what did y'all think of the NFL draft? Did y'all get the players y'all wanted? Let me know in the comments what y'all think, because we're going to cover the draft now. So, we had the Bears, I called it, y'all. The Bears picked Caleb Williams, number 1, to USC, or out of USC, to be their starter. Now, do they do with Caleb Williams like they did with Justin Fields, playing for a while and then trade him? I hope not, because I think Caleb Williams has a lot of time to grow. So now we had the Redskins drafting the quarterback out of LSU, Jaden Daniels. So I think that's a good pick. I think this is a good pick for the Redskins. I feel like Dan Quinn did good in drafting this pick. And let's just see how he does, because he's got people like Austin Eckler out there now to help him out. So we'll see how it goes. So the number 3 pick. This is the pick everybody was looking to me about, and that was the New England Patriots. Now, the Patriots drafted UNC quarterback Drake May. I think this is a good pick. I didn't know much about him, but from what I've learned, his stats are really good. He, was consistent in college, and the whole time I was hoping it was going to be J.J. McCarthy, and just continue that Michigan tradition in New England. Tom Brady came from Michigan and went to the Patriots. J.J. McCarthy went to Michigan and could have been drafted by the Patriots, but we got Drake May. So I'm really excited to see how Drake May does in New England this year. That was with the 3rd pick. Now with the 4th pick, we had the Cardinals drafting Ohio State wide receiver Marvin Harrison Jr. Again, didn't know much about him, just know that he's Marvin Harrison, Hall of Fame wide receiver Marvin Harrison's son. So from what I've read about him, I don't know that much about him, but what I've read, he was really good at Ohio State, so hopefully he boosts the Cardinals' offense this year. So then with the 4th pick, with the 5th pick, the Chargers drafted Notre Dame outside tackle Joe Alt. Notre Dame's been good for years, so I think him being in that system with Jim Harbaugh. Forgot what the coach's name was for a minute. But I think him being in that system with Jim Harbaugh is a good fit for him. So that was the top 5. So what we're going to do is I'm going to go through a few others that I know people are talking about. Like the number 8th overall pick. The Falcons drafted Michael Penix Jr., the Washington quarterback. Now, that was interesting because then I found out after the draft, Kirk Cousins was upset because they drafted another quarterback. He's like, why did y'all draft him? Y'all had me. Y'all gave me all this money. But what Kirk Cousins wasn't taking into consideration is he didn't have a backup. What if he gets hurt? He's coming off of an Achilles injury. What if, he needs to rest that Achilles? He's got Michael Penix Jr. back there to, take over for him. So I think it's a great pick. And Michael Penix Jr. played against J.J. McCarthy when Washington played Michigan in the national championship and came up short. So, again, great pick, Falcons. So, with the number 10th pick overall, the Vikings selected Michigan quarterback J.J. McCarthy. Now, this is another good pick. J.J. McCarthy is a great quarterback. He's a national championship winner, and I think it's only right he stays in the Midwest. And because he went to Michigan, now he's just going over to Minnesota. So I think him staying in the Midwest is a good fit. I wanted him out on the East Coast, but the more I thought about it, the more I thought it was fine if he was drafted somewhere. And I like the Vikings, so I will be pulling for J.J. McCarthy. You know, I'm a fan of his. I will pull for the team he goes to. So he's with the Vikings. Good for you, JJ. So now I've got a few friends that are New York Jets fans, and they drafted the Penn State offensive tackle Olu Fashionua. I know I just butchered his name, but he, again, great pick. I've heard he was great at Penn State. Penn State has been rebuilding, but best of luck to you, Jets. So now we're going to move into Dallas with the 20th overall pick. And they picked Tyler Guyton, the Oklahoma outside tackle. So now we're building the defense. We have a new defensive coordinator in Mike Zimmer, so now we're rebuilding the defense. So let's see how Tyler Guyton does with that addition to Zeke. Does Dak get back on track? Does that defense get back on track? Because Dallas lost people like Sam Lee. And how do they fill that void? So now we're going to move to the 28th pick in the draft, and that would be the Kansas City Chiefs. Now, why Kansas City? Why did you have to draft Xavier Worthy, the wide receiver out of Texas? Like y'all needed any more weapons and anything else to just get better. This was just a big stick in the eye, I believe. Because as everybody remembers from a few weeks ago, Xavier reported during the combine that Xavier Worthy was the fastest wide receiver. He ran the 40-yard dash the fastest. So, you know, I guess you're thinking if Rashid Rice gets arrested and y'all have to release him, then you've got Xavier Worthy. So, congratulations to you guys, Chiefs. Again, like you guys needed, like you guys didn't need any more weapons. So now we're going to move into Carolina. And Carolina drafted Xavier Legette, the wide receiver out of South Carolina, with the 32nd overall pick. So Carolina and the Chiefs switch spots. So welcome to Carolina, Xavier. I know you're going to I hope you can booster that that offense, because Carolina hadn't been great in a long time. So, now, with what I talked about with the draft, I want to talk a little bit about Kirk Cousins, because I haven't really touched on Kirk that much. And so I've always been a fan of Kirk Cousins. I've always thought he was an underrated quarterback. Always thought he never got what he deserved. And he's actually a product of what I seem to think of as a good quarterback drafted to the wrong team, because he was drafted by the Redskins, or now the Commanders, but they're wanting to change him back to Redskins. So you look at his touchdown to interception ratio and you look at the yards that the man's put up, he's done really good. So I hope he continues that success in Atlanta, because he had really good success in Minnesota, took him to the playoffs, had Justin Jefferson, and just, it's going to be good. So, congratulations, Kurt. I'm a fan, always have been, always will be. Wish you nothing but success, buddy. So that was all for the NFL. Now we're going to move into the UFL. And on Saturday, we had the Brahmas improved to 4-1 as they defeated the Renegades, who dropped to 0-5 with a score of 25-15. So the Brahmas defeated the Renegades 25-15. And in that game, I just want to make a note that the Renegades, I believe they're from San Antonio, have a quarterback who came out of East Carolina, who used to play for the Chicago Bears. He was undrafted to the Chicago Bears, and I didn't hear anything from him for a while. And now I found out that he is with the UFL now with San Antonio. So I wish him success. And I believe his name was Shane Arkins, if I remember right. And I know he's backing up, but let's just see how it goes. So the Stallions improved, moving on. The Stallions improved to 5-0 as they defeated the Roughnecks, who dropped to 1-4 with a score of 32-9. So honestly, y'all, I think it's going to be the Stallions and either the Battlehawks or the Brahmas in a championship game. And honestly, with the way it's looking, I think the Stallions are going to win the championship this year. They've improved to 5-0, and they're doing great. I think if you guys aren't watching the UFL, you guys need to start. So those were the only games on Saturday. So then we moved to Sunday, and the Battlehawks defeated the Defenders 45-12. So the Battlehawks improved to 4-1, and the Defenders dropped to 2-3. So again, I think it's going to be Battlehawks, Stallions, and I just think I think it's going to be interesting. These playoffs are going to be interesting. And then we're going to move down, and the last game was the Panthers improving to 3-2, defeating the Showboats, who dropped to 1-4 with a 35-18 score. So, I think the Panthers are looking good, obviously. So that, again, if you guys aren't watching the UFL, go check it out. Just let me know what you guys think in the comments. And let's just go from there. So now we're going to move into some NBA action. Again, playoffs are going on, so since I haven't done a video since last week, we're going to go through all the games since last week. So on Friday, we had the Mavs defeat the Clippers 101-90, and Dallas leads the series 2-1. Now, that changes because there was a game later on in the weekend. Again, I think Dallas is going to move on to the second round of the playoffs. I don't know who they're going to play yet, but I think it's going to be. I think they've got a pretty solid team. So the Pacers defeated the Bucks 121-118, and the Pacers lead the series 2-1. Again, Pacers have had a really good season this season. They deserve everything that is coming to them. So, I'm really happy to see some of these underdog teams get the credit they deserve. So, the Minnesota Timberwolves defeated the Suns 126-109, and the Wolves led the series 3-0, 1 game away from a sweep. Now, this surprised me because the Suns had a pretty stacked team with, they had one really good player in Kevin Durant, and they thought Kevin Durant was going to turn it around, and I know they've got a few other high-profile players, but Kevin Durant was the one they thought was just going to switch it around, and they're down 3-0 as of Friday. So now we're going to move into Saturday, where Oklahoma defeated the Pelicans of New Orleans 106-85 for the Oklahoma City Thunder to lead the series 3-0. Again, just like the Wolves, 1 game away from the Thunder are 1 game away from sweeping their team. The Celtics defeated the Heat 104-84 for the Celtics to lead the series 2-1. Now, if you guys remember last week when I was talking about the NBA, I said I wanted the Celtics back in the finals. I think, honestly, I'd love for it to be another Celtics-Denver matchup. So the Celtics 104, Heat 84. Celtics lead the series 2-1 as of Saturday. The Orlando Magic defeated the Cavs 112-89 to tie the series at 2. Now, this surprises me because I didn't think the Cavs were the Cavs or the Magic were good enough to be in the finals, but they were. So, let's see how that one ends up. I don't know who they play next, but we'll see how they play up. This one kind of surprised me. The Lakers defeated the Nuggets 119-108. The Nuggets lead the series 3-1. Now, this should have been a game that the Nuggets won, hands down. They should have swept the Lakers. I wish it had been a sweep. And we'd be talking today about LeBron crying because, they swept us again, 2nd year in a row. Well, LeBron, you're just not as good. And the Lakers hadn't been that great of a team in many years. I'd say since back in the Kobe Bryant, Shaquille O'Neal days. Once those two players left, the Lakers weren't really in contention much until LeBron showed up, and then LeBron shows up, and all of a sudden, the Lakers are going to the finals and winning a championship and going to the playoffs every year. And then you hit the Nuggets, who must be your kryptonite, because now the Nuggets lead the series 3-1. So, on Sunday, we had the Clippers defeat the Mavs 116-111 to tie the series at 2. Again, I think the Mavs are going to win this series, and it might be going to another 2 games, but we'll see how that ends up. So this is a game I haven't really talked about, but the Knicks defeated the Sixers 97-92, and the Knicks lead the series 3-1. Now, the Knicks are a team that have been coming on, and I want to retract the statement, and I know it looks bad because of how the stats look now, but I want to retract it. I do believe I said I thought the Sixers were going to come back, but I think the Knicks are going to win this series and move on to the second round of the playoffs. Also, we had the Pacers defeat the Bucks 126-113, so the Pacers lead the series 3-1. Come on, Pacers, you can close them out. It's Milwaukee, and I know Aaron Rodgers has part stake in the Bucks, which is even more reason for the Pacers to defeat the Bucks. So, now, if y'all remember, I talked about on Friday, Minnesota was 1 game away from sweeping the Phoenix Suns. Well, on Sunday, it was the Wolves defeating the Suns 122-116. So the Wolves win the series. So now they got to see who the winner of the Lakers-Nuggets series went to play them next. Well, we're going to get to that here in a little bit. So, congratulations, Minnesota. I know you have been, wanting this for a long time. So, congratulations on moving on. So, the Celtics defeated the Heat 102-88. So, now the Celtics lead the series 3-1. Again, Celtics need to go back to the finals. In fact, I think they need to win a championship. But if they go up against Denver, I'd love Denver to win the championship. So, I'd love for the Celtics to win a championship soon. If they have to go up against Denver, that's going to be a good series in the finals. So, the Thunder-Pelicans game. The Thunder defeated the Pelicans 97-89 for the Thunder to win the series. So I guess they get to see who they play against, either the Knicks or the Sixers or Boston, Miami, or the Dallas win. I don't know. Because like I said earlier, I know that Minnesota's waiting on the winner of the Nuggets-Lakers game, which, funny y'all should ask about that, because that game is right now. I'm going to talk about that game now, because I know you guys were sitting there like, what was the finals for that game Monday night, Peter? What was the score of the Nuggets-Lakers game Monday night, and how did that one end up? Well, I'm here to tell you. The Nuggets defeated the Lakers 108-106 for the Nuggets to win the series. So, on Monday night, this Monday, it will be Nuggets, Minnesota in the second round of the playoffs. So, this is going to be a good series because both teams won 4 games. Although both teams should have swept their respected first-round opponents, but the Lakers had to go win one, so that wasn't the case, which I'm ashamed of. I wish it had been a full sweep, but let's just take it for what it is and just be happy that the Lakers are out of it and the Nuggets are moving on. So with that, I have a stat that I saw today that I didn't really think about. This is the first time since 2005 that Steph Curry, LeBron James, or Kevin Durant haven't been in the second round of the playoffs. As y'all know, the Warriors didn't make it. They had to play a play-in game and lost that game. LeBron just lost to the Nuggets, and Kevin Durant and the Suns just lost to Minnesota. Just got swept by Minnesota. So let's just see how these playoffs end up. I'd love to hear y'all's thoughts. So who do y'all think is going to win it all this year? How do y'all think it's going to play out? So that was the NBA. So let's move into some hockey. Again, I've got a lot to get through, so just bear with me, y'all. So on Friday, we had the Canucks defeat the Predators 2-1. Vancouver leads the series 2-1, which is a shame because I thought Nashville was going to have a better season in the playoffs this year. I really wanted them to have a better spot. So the Rangers defeated the Capitals 3-1 for the Rangers to lead the series 3-0. So the Rangers are 1 game away from sweeping the Capitals. Again, they played again. We'll get to that here in a little bit. So the defending champions, the Colorado Avalanche, defeated the Winnipeg Jets 6-2 for Colorado to lead the series 2-1. Now, I know I haven't really talked about this one much, but it's because I don't really follow the Avalanche or the Jets that well. So, the Colorado leads the series 2-1. The Oilers defeated the Kings 6-1 for Edmonton Oilers to lead the series 2-1. Again, I don't follow these two teams because they're West Coast and Canadian, so they don't come across my feed that often. But when they do, I give you guys an update. So on Saturday, the Islanders defeated the Hurricanes 3-2 in 2 overtimes. Now the Canes still lead the series 3-1. This was the only game the Islanders have won. So the Canes need to win one more game to win the series. So maybe 2 more games to win the series. So come on, Canes, what do you have? Let's do good. So here's my pick to win it all this year. We had the Boston Bruins defeating the Maple Leafs 3-1 for the Bruins to lead the series 3-1. And now, have y'all noticed a pattern here? Have you kind of noticed that the score of the game is dependent on the series leads? I mean, Boston defeated the Leafs 3-1, but Boston now leads the series 3-1. There you go. So come on, Boston. Let's do it. I don't know who you guys will play because there's a lot of good teams still out there. Like this next one I'm going to talk about. The Stars defeated the Knights 3-2 in overtime, but the Knights lead the series 2-1. This has been a really good series. I like the Knights and I like the Stars. The Knights come out of Vegas. The Stars come out of Dallas. So, what do y'all think so far of the playoffs? Hockey playoffs. Are you enjoying them? And who are y'all's favorite teams? Continuing with the scores, the Lightning defeated the Panthers 6-3 for the Panthers to lead the series 3-1. This was a battle of Florida. The Lightning are in Tampa Bay, and the Panthers is the Florida Panthers. So that was all for that day. So then now we're going to move to Sunday. That was on Saturday. So now we're moving to Sunday. The Canucks defeated the Predators 4-3 for Vancouver to lead the series 3-1. So the Predators are 1 game away from being eliminated. Come on, Predators, let's make a comeback. I'd love to see y'all come back and win this series. So the Avalanche defeated the Jets 5-1 for Colorado to lead the series 3-1. So I think if it comes down to it, it might be Boston and Colorado if they keep it up. If they want to put the defending champs back in the finals, it might be Boston, Colorado. Honestly, personally, I'd like for it to be either the Hurricanes or the Stars right at this point to go up against Boston. Even though I like all 3 of those teams. I think they all deserve to be in the finals. Anyway, the Rangers defeated the Capitals 4-2 for the Rangers to win the series 4-0 and move on to the second round of the playoffs. Now, this is heartbreaking because the Capitals have been good and consistent for years. And you always expect them to go far in the playoffs, and to get swept like this is just makes me shake my head. So moving on from that heartbreak, the Oilers defeated the Kings 1-0 for the Oilers to lead the series 3-1. Now the Kings made it to the finals several years ago, and they've, again, like the Capitals, have been consistently in the playoffs since then. So for them to be 1 game away from elimination is mind-boggling to me. So now we're going to move into Monday night, where we had the Stars defeat the Knights 4-2 to tie the series at 2. So I believe they have another game tonight or tomorrow night. If not, here pretty soon. And I'd love to see the Stars win this one. I would love for it to. But this is kind of a win-win for me because I like both teams. But honestly, if you wanted me to put money on it, I'd put the Stars. So the Panthers defeated the Lightning 6-1 for the Florida Panthers to win the series of the Battle of Florida 4-1. Now, like I said in the past, I really think that the Tampa Bay Lightning have declined since Tom Brady retired, because Tom brought the town of Tampa Bay up. The Tampa Bay Rays did good. The Tampa Bay Lightning did good. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers did good. So, better luck next year, Tampa Bay. You guys were back-to-back Stanley Cup champs, and then y'all haven't made it to the playoffs y'all made it to the playoffs last year and almost made it a three-peat. But y'all got knocked out in the first round this year. So, better luck next year, Tampa Bay. Now we're going to move into some NASCAR news. And we raced in Dover this week, which they call the Monster Mile. And Denny Hamlin won the race, with Kyle Larson coming in second, Martin Truex Jr. coming in third, and Chase Elliott coming in fifth. I'm sorry, Chase Elliott came in fifth. Again, it's been a good season so far. The only repeat winners we've had have been, I believe Kyle Larson's won more than one race, and I know William Byron has won more than one. I believe William Byron's won 3 races. And 2 races maybe, and Kyle Larson's won 3. Kyle Larson's been the one to beat so far this year. So I will give you guys updates next week on the playoffs in the NBA and the NHL, and I'll keep you guys updated with the NASCAR next week. So that was all for sports, y'all. So now we're going to move into some entertainment stuff. We're going to move into some reality show stuff that I was made aware of this week. So I found out Survivor is getting ready to celebrate their 50th season. Can you believe it's been 50 seasons of Survivor? I can't. Well, speaking of that, they're going to have returning contestants come back. So it's going to be like an all-star season of Survivor for Survivor 50. And when they have a premiere date for that, I will let you guys know. Also, if you guys are Jeopardy fans, they're having the Master of Champions return tonight. It starts tonight, Master of Champions. And that's where all these champions come back and win all the money. And whoever has the most money at the end of their time, I believe it's a 2-week time span, whoever has the most money after the 2-week time span is the Master of Champions. Now, the last time they did it that I can remember, it was James Holtzhauser, Ben, I can't remember his last name, and Ken Jennings. And Ben won it all, beat Ken again. So check out Jeopardy's Master of Champions if you guys are Jeopardy fans. Also, I was made aware that reality show Race to Survive returns on USA. And the teams race in the wilderness across New Zealand this time. And I believe that starts, you guys can help me out on this, it starts on May the 20th, I believe, on Monday nights on USA. So if you guys are Amazing Race fans, go check out Race to Survive. So that's going to be a good one, I believe. So now we're going to move into the What We're Listening To segment. And this week, the person we're listening to are the Avett Brothers. They're a local band out of Mount Pleasant, North Carolina. They're folk rock and indie rock. And I came to know them from, the North Carolina scene, and they had songs in the television show One Tree Hill. In fact, there was a whole a whole episode that was I and Love and You, which is the name of one of the Avett Brother albums, which, by the way, was the first song I ever heard from the Avett Brothers, was I and Love and You, and it was thanks to the show. So they've had 12 albums, and they come from a musical family because it was formed by brothers Seth and Scott Avett, and they brought other people in. And their mom was a concert pianist, and their dad was a guitarist. So they come from a musical family. And I'm really excited for y'all to listen to them. I really like listening to local bands and just local talent. Whether, Southern talent, local talent, and just, I love to hear it. And I love music. So if you guys have any music suggestions, drop them in the comments and I'll listen to them and I'll give you my thoughts on a video. And that'll be a new segment. You let me know what you guys are listening to, and I'll do a segment about, I'll highlight an artist after I do what we're listening to, and we'll talk about it. But I'm going to introduce a new segment of what song are we listening to, and that's going to go with the name of the artist that we're listening to for the week. So this week I want you guys to go out and listen to the song I and Love and You from the Avett Brothers. In fact, in my opinion, they're very relaxing. They've got a very mellow sound. And if you've had a rough day, they're good to put on and listen to. So go out and listen to the song I and Love and You and listen to the Avett Brothers this week. And drop in the comments what you guys think of today's show, of the sports, of the reality shows we talked about, of what we're listening to. And just give me your thoughts on the show altogether. I always say, if you have any headlines you want me to cover, just let me know. And just remember that you are enough. There are people that care about you, and there are people that have your back, and those people are there to lift you up. So I want you guys to have a good week. I want to thank you guys for going the distance with me. And if you join me next week, we'll go the distance again. Can't wait to see you next week. God bless y'all.